You know, I think by far one of the coolest and strangest things that have happened to me is running into my old bus driver from high school. I didn't recognize him at first until he came in and goes, Gavin, is that you? And I was like, this guy knows my name. Who is this guy? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's, I forgot his name. So
wow.
That's a terrible
Jay, that's my first time hearing the story, but that sounded exactly like the Watto video I showed you. Gavin, is that you? That's exactly what it was.
And he was like, hey, he's like, this is a good kid. This is a good kid. He turns around to his wife. This dude's like 60 or something like that. And he goes, I used to drive him to high school all the time. And I was like, yeah, I remember there were times where I just straight up missed the bus, but he would stop for me. And he was like, yeah, he's a good
nice
kid.
Guy. That's crazy.
He goes, what are you doing now? I was like, I just graduated from college. And he's like, what? And he's like, oh my gosh, you already graduated college? And I was like, yeah, dude. Oh, it was so cool to see him again. I never thought I would see him again.
I had a bus driver who was very by the book, very strict, that she wouldn't even let kids that had like a skateboard come on the bus. She wouldn't take them, so they'd have to go home.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't have that bus
And she wouldn't stop, and you have to show your ID before getting on the bus. You have to have a pass written by the office if you like a friend was coming home with you or something.
What was her name?
Miss Karen.
I knew it.
Well, I guess my bus driver, he was cool, but there were so many times where he just straight up didn't show up. So I'd have to walk home from school. And that was, I didn't live the farthest.
Yeah, you don't live the farthest.
But it was still like a 30-minute walk.
Yeah, it's still
So yeah, doing that in the middle of the summer.
Fun.
Not fun. Nope.
Sounds like a good time.
It was a good time. Hot time.
Hot time.
Speaking of hot, we don't have a space fact today. So, well, space is...
Looking ahead.
Sun is hot.
This just in. The sun is hot.
Yes, it is.
Right before we started recording, we're like, okay, we're just cutting space with Gavin because Gavin didn't have a space fact.
Well, here's your space fact. It's hot. Sun is hot.
Uranus is the coldest planet.
It is the coldest planet. Miniature. We get a dwarf space fact.
All right, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about. And welcome back to the White Noise Podcast. I'm Ethan, joined by Gravedigger Gav.
Hello.
Not my best work. And as always, Jacob behind the glass.
Howdy.
It's no G-string king, but I'll take it.
No Gargle God.
Nope.
Wow, the classics.
The classics.
We can forget that one.
So we are on video now. Finally, after weeks of planning, we beat the Old Fashioned Podcast by getting on video.
What's the old-fashioned podcast?
What is
Exactly.
the old-fashioned?
I've never heard of that.
Dude, this
doesn't exist.
So here's the funny story. We announced that we were doing the Old Fashioned on episode 27. This is episode 53. We're in the halfway point of the White Noise episodes.
It happens.
Old Fashioned was announced, and episode 1 still hasn't been released.
They're coming. Don't worry.
They're coming.
They're on their way.
The first one is finished. It's edited. It's ready to be posted.
But you don't want to have them wait another 6 months for episode 2.
Well, the thing is, we won't be able to record for another 2 weeks. That's
it took
why.
you 6 months to record episode 1?
We've recorded it many times.
Oh my gosh.
We've recorded episode 1 probably 4 different times.
I want to see all those. I want to see those.
So it's not episode 1.
It is episode. It's actually 9.
Old-fashioned The Lost Files.
Because we did episode 1, 2, 3. I think we did a 4th one before we scrapped it. Then we did episode 1, 2, 3. Then we scrapped it.
Whatever. It's not even a real podcast yet, so...
It's real, guys.
This podcast is what counts. Let's go.
Let's go.
1 year.
Oh, yeah. It's our 1 year podcast episode with episode 53.
Shout out to all the boys who bring the noise.
The noise. Technical difficulties.
You're going to have to censor me on that. Oh, gosh. Sorry. My foot was tangled with the cords. But let's get into the happenings really quick. Because that's what they're supposed to be.
Really quick.
And last week we...
Not really quick.
Not really quick with it. So...
Hour long.
With that being said, let's get into some news. Starting with DC. There's been a lot of news with DC lately with James Gunn and Peter, I forgot his last name, becoming co-CEOs of DC Studios and basically rebuilding the whole thing, re-scrapping it. So James Gunn came out and said that the DC universe will be inspired by Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice, the popular DC animated TV shows. So those will be, he said, definitely, that's in quotes, inspired by those two classic animated series, which I never watched them as a kid, but I know with DC fans, those are like the gold standard of animated superheroes. And then with James Gunn, so with all this stuff, specifically Henry Cavill being, fired, but they're not bringing him back, he responded to that backlash because that was a huge blow.
Yeah.
So this is the James Gunn quote. "We were aware there would be a period of turbulence when we took this gig, and we knew we would sometimes have to make difficult and not so obvious choices, especially in the wake of the fractious nature of what came before us. But this means little to us in comparison to our jobs as artists and custodians in helping to create a wide and wonderful future for DC." And really quick, Gavin, what do you think about that?
Not a fan. I loved Henry Cavill as Superman.
Exactly.
Not a fan of that at all.
And here's another thing that kind of leads into that. 99% of people who have an interest in DC and Superman like Henry Cavill as Superman. Like, Jacob, you don't care all that much. Do you like Henry Cavill as Superman?
I do.
Yeah. And
great Superman.
Here's the real kicker. So Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot's cameos in the Flash movie have reportedly been cut.
Ugh.
So that's the second news of it, leading people to make the assumption of, Henry Cavill's gone, Gal Gadot's gone, all this stuff. But then James Gunn responded to an Instagrammer who suggested the DCU is moving to boot Cavill and Gadot. James Gunn responded saying, "I'm not sure where you're getting that we booted Gal." That's how he responded. So are they keeping her? And here's the thing: if they keep her, but they get rid of Henry Cavill,
that wouldn't make sense.
That would be more backlash.
It's like Gal Gadot was cool as Wonder Woman. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, why did we need to fire Henry Cavill?
Exactly. So that's that, and then not so surprising news. The Rock came out and confirmed James Gunn currently has no plans for Black Adam in the DCU.
Let's go. I mean, dang.
Darn it.
So The Rock recently met up with James Gunn to discuss the future of Black Adam, and he's not in the future.
Is it just me, or has The Rock become really unlikable in like a movie, like as an actor, really quickly?
Because he's the same character and everything. He's The Rock.
The Rock,
exactly,
in the movie.
And that was our big criticism leading up to Black Adam, is we'll never be able to see him as Black Adam. We'll just see the Rock playing a superhero, and that's what it was. And then with the whole Henry Cavill talk, some good news for him, at least, is he's going to be starring and being an executive producer in Warhammer 40K. I know that's a nerd thing. What is it, Gavin? Because I have no knowledge of what it is. I'm a nerd too. I'm not saying it like to be negative towards nerds.
Okay. I have no idea.
Jacob, do you know what Warhammer 40K is?
I know it's a board game.
It's like a sci-fi role-playing game.
I know that it's got a very, very loyal fan base. So I've already seen plenty of memes where it's like people said Henry Cavill was problematic on the Witcher set. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that it's
seriously doubt that.
I've heard that his quote-unquote problematic behavior was just he didn't want the writers to ruin the show.
Yeah, well,
so it's like I don't
because the writers completely threw out the source material. Basically, that's what it was.
Yeah, so it's like I like to believe,
but he's an executive producer on this one, so he'll have a lot more control with that.
I like to believe they'll be like, "Hey, Henry Cavill, everybody kind of likes you. We'll let you do what you got to do, make us money." Because it goes back to this whole thing. You want to make money?
Yep.
You want to make money, right? Cool.
So Warhammer,
you know how?
Warhammer 40K is a miniature war game produced by Games Workshop. So it's a miniature role-playing game. That's cool. That's what I thought it was.
Yep.
I just didn't know what it was, I guess. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And then that's DC. Moving on to Marvel really quick. We'll just hop over to that side of the pond. To Christian Bale saying he would return to the MCU for the right role. And he said, this is quoting him.
What bad guy was he again?
That's sort of the K.
Gorge? Not,
or was it just Gore?
Gore. It was Gore. Gore the God Butcher was his name.
Which I heard he was like one of the only good things about Love and Thunder.
Ah, that's right.
He said, if it's an interesting thing and crucially, if my kids are telling me that I'm not allowed not to do it, that's when he'll return.
Nice.
I mean,
But-
I thought one of his things that he hated was that there was just not enough acting and just too much.
Yeah.
That was him that said that, right?
Well, yeah, I think he was unhappy with like how it kind of turned out, and they cut a lot of his stuff too from the movie,
I'd be pretty sore about that too.
especially since he's like,
He's a very devoted like method actor, isn't he?
Since he's Christian Bale.
he actually killed some gods to prepare for the role.
Yep, I believe it.
He really just started scrapping with Thor on set. Taika Waititi was just like, keep going, keep rolling.
And then in other news, Donald Glover will star in and produce Hypno Hustler, a new Spider-Man villain spin-off film set within the Sony Spider-Man universe. So it's set with like Morbius, Venom, Kraven the Hunter, called Hypno
It's Morbin time.
Hustler.
I'm actually looking forward to that. Say Childish Gambino, you said?
Yes, Donald
Donald
Glover.
Glover.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. I
But
know him from a
this
different name.
is the thing. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I actually have hope
I
for
see
that.
that,
okay?
and then
I don't get it. Wait, go back.
well, that was the news that I just read. And
Oh.
that's the reaction.
I'll say I've liked him in the roles
But-
that he's been in, so I actually
Well,
have hype.
yeah,
hope
It
for
just
that.
seems very low
it's just
priority. I don't know.
I mean, when you put
Well-
Morbius in the same sentence, yeah, it doesn't exactly sound the best.
With
Maybe
that's
leave that part
it's
out.
Sony. Like they have to put out Spider-Man content every like 2 years or something,
Mm-hmm.
or they lose the rights to Spider-Man. But they don't have like they can't use Spider-Man. They have to use all his different
I feel like that would be so
spin-off
easy.
characters.
Just,
Like they're doing Madam Web. Remember that?
just do a remake Spectacular Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Easy. That'd be so easy. You don't even have to do anything. Just
Speaking of that, Spider-Verse, the Across the Spider-Verse. So the producer of that movie confirms that Spectacular Spider-Man will appear in the movie.
oh man,
And
hype. That
That's
was actually
exciting, I mean-
I'm glad I actually watched that show. That show was actually really cool.
after so many years of not watching it, especially that theme song is...
Kind of got a little old.
what did you just say to me?
Got a little old.
Any song gets a little old. Except
This one got
Rich
old
Girl.
pretty fast. This one aged maturely,
I think you're...
quickly.
Whatever. And then Deadpool 3 will include time travel. Yay.
Yeah.
Like, what was the first superhero movie to do time travel? Wasn't it X-Men of like Days of Future Past? First mainstream like superhero movie to do time travel. So it was an X-Men movie.
Probably.
And then Endgame did it.
I mean, technically,
and then
Superman
Justice League's
did it.
kind of doing it.
Technically, I think it was the original
I said
Superman.
mainstream. I said current, modern.
The original Superman was mainstream.
In the 70s?
Yes,
Okay, that doesn't count.
it was like one of the most
So
popular
here's the thing.
movies.
It will include time travel. We don't know to what extent, but I think
Maybe it was Superman.
it'll
2.
it'll be used to keep the timeline from Logan intact without like breaking any continuity.
Yeah, I don't think 50 years ago is modern, Gavin.
Well, I mean, I'm saying it was mainstream.
He said modern.
So does this mean Logan doesn't die in this?
Oh, epic.
We'll see. But sticking with superheroes, Invincible Season 2 has been announced to arrive on Prime Video in 2023.
Yes.
That news came out,
Now that I'm 100,
and it was that news came out.
Took
and
too long.
The headline says that, and it's treated like this big news. I was like, oh,
they were
I was
confirmed
ex-
for 3 seasons.
I was
already.
expecting it to come out next year.
That's what I was too.
like,
It's like, hey guys, it's still coming.
Yeah,
just in
I mean,
case anybody
that's
fell
basi-
asleep.
That's basically what it was. Is
God.
it's still coming?
How long did
It's like me saying the Old Fashioned Podcast is coming soon.
When did season 1 of that drop? Didn't it drop in like 2020?
2020. Yep, because we were watching it.
And that was when they had already confirmed. They confirmed 3 seasons, didn't they? Like that same year.
I have no idea.
They confirmed at least a
But I
second
remember
season,
telling
I know
you not so long ago that they just started working on it, like producing. it.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah, I remember that. I
back,
was like-
almost a year ago
that.
now.
No, I went in a rage fest on that one because I was like, what have you been doing? Oh, yeah. Cool.
And then the new Christopher Nolan trailer for Oppenheimer was released, and it's just a bunch of close-ups of Cillian Murphy.
How do you pronounce that?
Cillian Murphy
Cillian Murphy. Okay.
acting his heart out, and a bunch
Oscar nomination.
of bombs. I just by the trailer, it's like this guy's going for the Oscar.
I'm gonna keep it real. I feel like most biopics usually do garner, like historically speaking, it's usually garnered at least a nomination.
At least I think, yeah, especially with this movie where Christopher Nolan recreated the Trinity nuclear explosion without CGI for this movie.
Damn. So they were really just gonna detonate a bomb. They really just do it.
All the memes of
That poor
that
cameraman.
have been so funny. I know, but that's Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan uses very little CGI, and that's why, that's one of the reasons I like him so much. Like Inception, a lot of it is practical effects. like the spinning hallway scene. He actually built a set that spinned.
Spinned.
Spun, yes. Gosh.
Sorry.
But that's one of the reasons. One of the many reasons I enjoy Christopher Nolan's films, except Tenet. Tenet was a disgrace. This has been your reminder that Tenet is not a good movie.
Got him.
I thought it was just the sound design that sucked.
A lot of it sucked.
Okay.
The concept is kind of cool on the surface, but overall it's just garbage.
Yeah, but Robert Pattinson.
He was the best part of that movie.
Yeah, he was.
A lot of the movie reviews that review that movie all the cons of the movie, and they're like, but Robert Pattinson was good. That's exactly how I felt.
You done good, Edward.
And then Avatar 2 was released this past weekend, and Gavin went to go see it.
I
Gavin,
did. Opening weekend.
You want to let people know your extreme thoughts about it?
Extreme?
Yeah.
I think the movie was really well done. I can't spoil it, unfortunately. My lawyer legally says I can't say anything about it. But, a really good movie. It is 3 hours and like 10 minutes, so feel free to go to the bathroom before doing it because there's no intermission. I went and saw it in 3D, so anybody who sees it in 2D, go ahead and tell me how that went. But in 3D, it honestly felt like I was watching a video game. Like the cutscenes. Which, looking up some reviews, they said the same thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that saw that. But
So you saw it in 3D. Was it like, wow?
There was, yeah. For like the first hour, it was like, they kind of were like, hey, let's make a 3D movie.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was just kind of like,
Well, I know that was
like
that was
2D.
James Cameron's thing for the past like 10 years of he's making this movie the way 3D movies are supposed to be made. I was like, okay, what does he mean by that?
It definitely enhanced it. It definitely
like,
made it good.
I'm going to go see a play?
Yeah.
Cool.
It action-packed, kept me on the edge of my seat all the way. I am hype for the third one after seeing this one.
So, with that being said, so this movie has opened, the opening weekend, it brought in $134 million. So, that's a lot of money. However, it was under expectations of the projected what they expected because they spent a lot of money on this movie.
Yeah.
And right now it's not like, yes, it's making a lot of money, but is it making enough to really
It better.
make
it
a
better.
profit?
It
you
better.
know?
I want to see the third one. I want to at least see the third one because I heard the fourth one's a prequel. So
And
I got to see the third one at least.
With James Cameron, here's some Terminator news. Gavin read that and was like, huh? And he told me about a Terminator anime I didn't hear about.
Swear I heard that there was going to be a Terminator anime. I thought that's what that was. I'm like, oh
So,
my gosh, I forgot about that.
Sounds kind of cool.
It does sound cool.
From IGN, Terminator reboot being discussed by James Cameron. So James Cameron confirmed that discussions are taking place to reboot the Terminator franchise.
Please don't make it Genesis.
Cameron
Dark
told
Fate.
the Smartlist podcast that he would shift the focus to artificial intelligence instead of bad robots.
I'm fine with the bad robots, but I mean, it's just like, what was the most recent one that came out? Dark Fate?
I think there was a...
Genesis was literally just Terminator 2,
yeah.
and then Dark Fate was literally just Terminator 1. Like, so, I mean, I was watching it the whole time. I'm like, they even used the same song. Like, I mean, never mind if you haven't seen it. But, yeah, it's just same. It was pretty much what people disliked about Force Awakens and New Hope. Dark
what it
Fate
was.
and Terminator 1. Yeah, it was just same formula.
Well, unfortunately, that's how it goes in the NFL. And
Speaking of disappointment,
speaking of disappointment, real quick, we'll just talk about the NFL, the state of the NFL, because Gavin really wants to talk about the NFL.
I'll say one thing about the NFL. One thing I learned. I think this is probably last week. A fact that pertains to last week. If you take every single game that was within 1 point differential, like somebody won by a score or less.
Yeah.
If you flipped all those games, the Minnesota Vikings would only win one game
Oh, but like the...
all year.
Yeah, all year? Well,
So they'd be
The Broncos
1
would be
and 11
amazing.
or something.
Broncos
I
would
think
be
they were
amazing.
like 6-6 or something.
I think their overall season point differential
it's the smallest. Yeah,
is like -4.
that's crazy.
And the Cowboy game really
oh yeah,
hurt them.
I loved
So,
watching that game. What do you mean? Loved watching
no, the Cowboy-Minnesota game from 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Is it Jags and Viking? Or
I mean, winning close games is the sign of a good team, but it's still crazy that they've had that much.
With the Vikings, they hold the NFL record for biggest comeback in history.
That's crazy.
I think that's
33-0.
Dang,
In
How
the
do you screw
third
that up?
quarter. and Matt Ryan at the helm.
Beat out Kim Kardashian for that one.
Shut up.
Oh,
Parks
man.
and Rec joke. But that's the NFL. Honestly,
It's good to see.
we'll talk more about the NFL in playoffs.
Yeah,
Because
when
that's
it gets
when-
interesting.
Luckily, the Jags make it.
Luckily or hopefully?
They're right now, like, there's a possibility they take the division lead over the Titans. Titans have one win.
Yeah,
over
they're in that division. Okay,
That's
that makes
crazy.
sense.
And then the Ravens.
That makes sense.
Ravens currently playing with, like, Pop Warner football players.
That's South. Like, the Jacksons are in the South, right?
Yeah.
AFC South.
Yeah, so
AFC
AFC and NFC South are just garbage.
Yep.
Just like the NFC and AFC East are powerhouses.
Yep. Ravens suck.
Wild.
Not you, Tucker. You're good. You're cool. And you, Andrews and Jackson. You guys are cool. Everybody else,
Damn.
just kidding. Love you guys.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Talk so much crap.
I
about
literally,
them,
yeah, because I
especially
love
Tucker.
them. Because I care. Would I talk crap about them if I didn't
You
care?
love them so much. You have two different teams that you root for.
I
too.
love them so much that whenever they lose a game, my whole week is ruined. So,
They lost to the Browns, right?
yes. Listening to the announcers made me want to put a hole through the TV, dude. They're like, "Oh, yeah, this is quite the predicament." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is."
All right. That's the NFL. We'll talk more once the playoffs come because that's when it'll get interesting.
Yeah, boy.
So let's get into the movie review. That's the Wilhelm scream, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that.
You haven't.
Oh, okay.
To anybody that didn't know that,
That's the Wilhelm scream. You'll hear it in a lot of movies because it's a very iconic little thing that filmmakers use.
yeah.
That's why you hear that scream when I say let's get into the movie review. Anyways, what was the movie this week, Gavin?
I kind of forgot how to pronounce it. Klaus.
Klaus.
I thought it was Klaus, but
Klaus.
it's Klaus.
Whatever.
2019.
But
Netflix movie.
what'd you think about it?
First of all, I was blown away by the animation. Animation was really good.
It was really unique.
Oh yeah.
And I think you'll agree with me with this. Similar to like What If, but it did it the right way, where What If did it more jarring.
Huh? Kind of lost me there. What did you just say?
The animation to Marvel's What If series.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, no.
Kind of like that
What If
similar
animation.
that similar feeling, but this
If they were
movie
like,
did it
hey,
well.
how do we make this not look like an eyesore? Then yes, that's how this animation would look. But
we're doing something new with the movie review where one of us has seen it and the other hasn't. So I was the one that saw this when it first came out, but I did rewatch it and then had Gavin watch it for the first time. And there's a lot I forgot about this movie. So I forgot how it ended or like what happened or how things got started.
that ending
was
that was heart wrenching. I hated that ending, dude. God, it was such a good ending, but I hated it.
I really enjoyed it. It was a very similar. It was a Christmas vibe of like
I hope so.
the Book of Life.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that kind of thing, like the two conflicts, like the family feud in the city, and how like it was just overall wholesome. Even though, what's the mailman's name?
I kept calling him Cusco. That's all he reminded me of. Is he was just
Jason
Cusco.
Schwartzman, the voice actor for him.
So not David Spade.
Not David Spade.
Okay, good.
No.
But his character was very much like Cusco, kind of like that entitled heir, basically.
Entitled Emperor.
Yeah.
No touchy.
No touchy. That's when Gavin pointed it out, it was like, oh, I thought it was the same guy as Cusco. I was like, oh my gosh, he did sound like him.
He did.
But
And then you also had Jessie from Toy Story. She was the leader of
oh
the
yeah,
other family.
oh yeah.
Is that Joan Cusack?
Yes, Joan Cusack.
I always
and then
forget her
Rashida Jones was Miss Alva.
I like Rashida Jones.
I knew. I recognized it. I'm like,
J.K. Simmons was Klaus.
I knew J.K. Simmons. But I mean, I was recognizing so many voices.
Yeah.
I'm like, where have I heard these?
So
I didn't want to look up
all
the cast.
all the voice performances were great. I really like. It's the classic like I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. So I have bad intentions of why I'm helping people, and then he ends up liking it. Like that's a
Yeah.
story that's been told countless times this way. It's just told differently with like a Christmas origin story, and
I loved how it set everything up, like the whole Santa Claus thing. You know,
kind of like explains everything.
yeah, like reindeer, flying sleigh,
Yeah.
everything. It was cool.
And I did watch it with my sister Felicia, and
Shout out Felicia.
Shout out Felicia. She did point out to me something that I thought was interesting, so I can't take credit for this analysis, where kids today will get a present from Santa Claus, and cover your ears, kids, if you're listening.
What are you about to say? Whatever you're saying better be real. Better be factual.
Let's just say, so Santa Claus gets all the credit for these presents.
Yes.
He gets all the credit.
Yep.
All right. Just like in the movie, Klaus gets all the credit when Jason Schwartzman, the mailman, is the one that's doing all the work to deliver them. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
No.
Just like how parents do all the work. You get it. You get where I'm going with this.
Santa gets some credit because he deserves some. Yeah, he leaves some presents.
Okay.
He deserves it.
Okay,
he deserves some
we'll
credit.
leave it at that.
Tis the sacrifice of a parent.
Yep. The parents understand.
But I just like seeing the development of Jason Schwartzman's character. Let me look up his name. I'm tired of saying that. Keep talking, Gav.
I really like the character development he went through. Well, I was going to take you back.
I know.
Whatever. Okay.
Jesper.
Anyway. Jasper. Yes. Because it sounded a lot like Jasper.
So
That's
Jesper.
I like how the kids all, it was kind of like breaking from tradition type of thing. That's what I felt the message of this movie really was. I liked the way all the kids interacted with each other. I feel like it felt real. I didn't feel... obviously the stuff they were doing were over the top, like pushing the old man, like when he was asleep or something like that, off of a cliff. I liked the two kids that got married at the end, the mine girl and the big dude.
Yeah.
The ending, oh man,
heart-wrenching. The whole thing with when he finds the little wooden figures of Klaus and his wife, and then all the empty spots, and then when all the people help them make the toys, and then they kind of fill it all up, and like. This is his family.
It was sad, dude. The whole time, too, I'm like, where is Mrs. Claus at? Or Mrs. Klaus, I'm sorry. Where's she at?
And then I like how...
But the whole time...
All the things throughout the movie, all the typical Santa Claus stuff is explained, like the reindeer, he was flying, or...
I was waiting to see Rudolph.
Jesper was getting mad, or was holding a grudge at one of the kids, so he's like, oh, only nice kids get presents. He keeps a list. He knows when you've been bad, like that kind of stuff, just to get at him. And then that's how that's created.
Creating Christmas.
Exactly. And then, so all those things, but at the end, it's all that becomes magical because Jesper's like, I don't know how it happens, but every year I get to see my friend.
Yep. And I just like the part where he was saying, he's like, we kept trying to have kids. We wanted several kids. I'm just like, it's taking so long. We're like, what are we waiting for? It's like, and then we waited, and I'm like, waiting for what? Like, what's? Come on now. I'm not gonna say anything further. Just saying, I was just like, what's the hold up? Watching my watch. Come on, bro, let's do it.
There's a lot of parts. There's a lot of parts in this movie that were like, aw. Like as the years go by, you kind of see Klaus get older.
I know. That's when I knew that it was gonna happen because I'm like, oh, why is he getting old? I was like, Santa is immortal, so he's getting old.
And then he's just cutting wood in the wind. He's like, I'm coming. But
sadness.
Honestly, Jacob, if you haven't seen this movie,
please watch it.
I think you and your child and fiance would really quite enjoy it.
Perhaps I will.
I'd rather get a kick out of this movie, out of this flick. But yeah, for a Christmas movie, I really thought it was going to be stupid, childish. I was like, whatever. But at the end of it, I legit was like, this was a good film. But no, at the end of it, I legit was like, wow, this movie was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too. What would you rate it?
I'm going to have to give this... I don't want to give it super high of a rating just because it is an animated kids movie.
Okay, I gave Encanto a really high score.
I think I'm going to give it
and I regret it, so yeah, you're valid with that.
I think I'm going to give it like an 80%.
80%? Okay. I'm going to give it a 93.
93? I wanted to give this movie like a 95, but it's like, would I really put this on Godfather level? Like, would I put this at Maverick level? Like, honestly,
you have to grade it in the category that it's in. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's an animated movie. How do you if I'm in an animated movie kind of
if we were doing that
category, this is 97, 98. Like,
if we're doing like Christmas movies, or like just holiday movies in general,
Yeah.
this is definitely like 100% in my opinion. This was by far my favorite one I've ever seen.
So do you want to change your 80%? For
Even
just
better
the broad-
than Jingle All the Way.
I think Jingle All the Way is
I think it's
more
so-
entertaining.
It's more entertaining just because of how bad it is, in my opinion. It's so
funny.
bad.
That's my
but it's so
favorite
good.
Christmas movie.
I think Jingle All the Way is definitely a top 5 contender, maybe even top 3. But,
It's top 2 and an 8-2.
but if we're doing,
I got 93% for me.
yeah,
So
if we're doing based on other animated or just Christmas movies, this definitely is like a 95%. Then
do you want to? What's your final rating for?
I'll
this
put
movie?
I
both.
thought we were doing overall, but
Just your overall rating. Is it an 80%? I feel like that's unfair.
we'll compromise in the middle and go 88%.
Okay, 88 for Gavin. And that's Klaus. Next week, what are we watching, Gav?
So
A movie he's seen and
Ethan,
I haven't.
I think by far the biggest sin you've ever created or committed was not watching Pacific Rim. Movie 100%, 110. Just kidding, no it's not. But yeah, we're watching Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. What year did that come
Idris
out?
Elba in it. I think it was 2014.
That sounds about right.
2014, I believe. Let me fact check that.
So we were watching Pacific Rim. Cool.
Who's the main guy in that?
Who's the main guy?
Yeah.
John Boyega.
2013.
Is it?
No, he's the
second
main in
one.
the second one.
The second. Okay,
Charlie
that's
Day's
why.
in it.
Charlie Day's in it?
Yeah, Charlie
Should've told me
Hunman.
that
Charlie
sooner.
Hunman.
Wait, Charlie Day and Charlie Hunman, or both of them?
Charlie
one?
Day is like a side character.
Oh, okay.
Charlie Hunman.
Charlie
is the-
Hunnam. Oh,
Hunnam. What the hell? Oh, wait, we're allowed to say that. What did I just say? Hunman?
Hunman.
Yeah,
Charlie
my bad.
Hunnam.
Hunnam. Yeah, he's the main guy. We're allowed to say that.
Shove it back in there.
One freebie.
Okay. So that's what we're watching next week, and be sure to watch it so we can.
Yeah, I don't
Review
feel like,
it.
I don't feel like we need to do a bio because everybody's seen this movie but you. And if you haven't
I've
seen this
never
movie,
seen
Jacobs
it.
hasn't seen it.
yeah, you haven't.
No.
Well, just those two. And if you haven't seen the movie,
Let's get into the static.
Welcome to the static.
All right.
yes,
So it's our 1 year
correct.
of White Noise.
Woo!
You know, this is our 53rd episode, which means we have 1 year of episodes without missing a week.
That is like the first time.
Whoa, that's
Thank
Jacob. You shouldn't have.
Thank you. Thank you.
You shouldn't have.
So I thought, what better way than to start off with our failures?
Oh, exquisite. I thought we were really going to go the full episode without saying that. God.
So you're wrong. Anyways, me and Gavin came up with let's do a podcast last November. Like it was like right before Thanksgiving. We kept talking about it. We were actually talking about it for much longer. We even did a podcast
No, we didn't.
called Craps and
No.
Giggles, but it's not Craps. It has one episode. Anyways, our whole thing that was holding us was the name of the studio and the name of the podcast, and it just took us forever to find those names. And then one day, it was last Thanksgiving where I just bought all the podcast equipment. I was like, all right, we can do this. We can start.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise.
And
Welcome one.
our whole plan was like, cool, we'll do like 2 podcasts a week with all these videos and short films. And
I'm glad we did not do that.
1 year later, Gavin, we just have the one podcast.
We do have a second
We
podcast
do.
coming.
It's coming.
I've
It
never heard of this
exists.
second podcast.
It
What is it?
exists.
There,
does
it's
not
on its way.
exist.
Here's my whole argument about it. He says it doesn't exist.
Doesn't
There's
exist.
not episode 1. It doesn't exist.
It does
Doesn't
not.
exist.
So I said, okay, a movie that's coming out, and you see the trailer, but
Is there,
it's
a
not
trailer,
out yet.
is there a trailer for Old Fashioned?
There's footage of Old Fashioned.
Is it posted?
Yeah,
Where?
it's on the TikTok. Not Gavin, Paul's Bet.
That's
Oh.
a doctored one. Is that episode 1? Since you've recorded it like 9 times,
I
is it
simply-
in?
That's like episode 4 of our second batch.
Then no.
It does not fit my argument, therefore I choose to throw it out. So therefore, no.
Anyways, 1 year anniversary. So I have a little bit of White Noise trivia for you two.
Oh darn.
Just some questions, and I think some of the answers will be shocking, but we'll start off really easy.
I don't pay attention a lot. I'm gonna be bad.
Who was our first guest?
Ooh.
Really, guys?
I want to say it was Paul.
I
No.
think the trap answer is Paul, but
No,
I'm
hold
gonna
on.
say Austin, our brother Austin.
It was Austin, yeah.
Yep.
It was episode 3.
Which episode?
Episode 3.
I
Nope, episode 2.
concede that one. I don't know.
It's episode 2.
5. Nope. No, it was really
Because-
early. I remember I was like, we should get some real like just
'Cause
episodes out before we bring in a guest.
We were
So I
still
was
doing the
thinking,
movie.
Let's do 4.
We were still doing the
Episode
movie
4.
review. movie review was the first episode was Pirates of the Caribbean, I believe. The second one was Hercules.
Episode 4, special guest Austin.
Episode 4 is correct.
Oh, God, I'm so good at this.
I was going to say something that would totally demonetize us.
And here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about that is, with that, Austin was here when we were setting up, and we're like, "Hey, Austin, you want to be on?" He's like, "Yeah," and he was on, but like there was no planning. I don't think we even have a script that day.
We need to have him back on to redeem it.
And actually, it was episode 3. My bad, guys.
I knew it. Well, actually, I did say episode.
Ethan,
I'm sorry, it was episode 3.
I'm
but
not good at this.
The statement that I was going to say is reversed.
he was on, and it was just one of our worst episodes. So then that's when we restructured things and made the podcast.
No blame to Austin.
better. No blame. Yeah,
Shout out, Austin.
It was all.
You helped.
He gets really butthurt about that when we say that was our worst episode ever.
Not because
It wasn't
you-
his fault.
Just because
It's just lack of planning on our end.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault.
We need to have him back.
We do.
All right, so I start off every episode with "Welcome back to the White Noise Podcast."
Yes.
I'm Ethan, joined by Gavin, Jacob behind the glass.
Cap.
When was the only time that Gavin did the welcome back intro? If you just had to guess which episode.
I want to guess it was in the 30s.
I'm going to say it was fairly recent. Right?
I'm going to say 40s. It was in the 40s. 44.
Just give a number.
You said I'm 40.
It was the episode you weren't here and Paul didn't show up. Wasn't it? Because I was doing the soundboard.
I thought it was earlier, or
It was the Green
More
Mile
recent
episode.
than that.
Green Mile episode. Hold on. I'm going to go 48.
Okay.
I was thinking 49.
All right. No.
All right.
I did the intro for that one. You just worked the soundboard.
Statement stands.
It was episode 2.
Wow.
Was the only time Gavin did the intro.
I didn't do
Wow.
this episode.
Darn.
Nope.
I hate being censored.
Well, I know you. I see you catch yourself. So it's episode 2 when Gavin did "Welcome Back to the White Noise Podcast," and then a little bonus. He did open episode 3, but I did the welcome back intro.
Right.
He opened "Welcome to the White Noise Podcast," where we give amateur tattoos to the elderly, and then we started, and then I did welcome back.
Oh, yeah, we were doing that little thing.
I thought that was really funny, so just thought I'd let you guys know that.
Cold
Cool.
open, no context.
I know. When were Gavin's nicknames first implemented?
Oh,
Episode
gosh.
8.
Episode 10. Episode 12.
All right. The correct answer is episode 8.
God, yes.
Got the White Noise King over here. What the heck is that?
We've done it. Since episode 8, we did skip number 9, though.
So they're like, what, episode 10? Really?
No, we did episode 8 and then 10 till
Wow.
now. Well, bonus, what was the nickname? The first nickname that...
Dude, I don't know.
It's a common one that... It's one of the most...
Gabby Wabby.
Gabby Wavy is the correct answer.
I have not researched this at all. I didn't even know this was happening, so I'm getting...
Bonus, this might be interesting. When did Gavin start giving pushback on the nicknames?
Episode 12.
Episode 8. First episode.
You would think episode 8, but it was episode 13.
How do you know this?
Close.
The name,
Did you just rewatch all the episodes
the
real quick?
name where you gave the pushback was, and I guess it makes sense, was "Welcome Back, I'm Ethan," joined by Grr.
Not Gargle God.
So the names leading up to that was Gavy Wavy, Gavitron, G Weezy, G Baby, and then you started giving pushback of like, really, that's me when I said Grr. But then you really like Childish Gavino.
I did like that one.
And then when I called you Goob, he's like, I really missed when you gave me my old name. So that was interesting. But grr. What episode was the world famous exquisite soundbite said? I will take a number or a title. And if you say the title, it has to be the correct title.
Gentleman Club.
I don't remember
No, that
the
was part of it.
titles.
It was Gentleman Club and
It was part of it.
something.
I want to say ballpark.
gonna
Episode...
18.
Yeah, I was going to say 16 maybe.
All right. The correct answer is episode 10.
Dang,
That was
that
that
early?
early?
It was really early.
Man.
Cool.
Episode 10,
Exquisite.
School Stories and Gentlemen Clubs was the name.
Stop it. Exquisite.
And then
How many times has that button been pressed? Let's do a trivia question on that one.
There's no counting.
that's impossible. I'd have to pay someone to do that.
Someone would have to sit through.
You guys can start at episode 11, though.
Someone would have to start Yeah, you'd have to go through like 48 hours.
Good luck with this one.
Stop. Breastfeed.
I think the full thing would have to count. Like, that would count as 1.
Counts as 0.
When did friend of the show Brett first appear, and how many episodes has he been on?
13 and 3.
Is it 3? I was gonna say 2, but
I thought it was 3. Because there was 2 of them where I was here with him, and I swear there was one where there wasn't.
So, Gavin, you're correct in that. Yes, there are 3. 2 of them you were here, 1 of them you weren't.
Yes. I knew
His first appearance was episode 7.
nice.
And then he was on 3 times. The 2 other times was 23 and 40. Episode 23 was titled Paul, Brett, and Ray Liotta. And that's when you weren't here.
Episode 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
all
no,
of them.
episode 7. No, episode 23, my bad.
I thought Ray Liotta...
So
Episode
Brett's
23.
due for a comeback
Episode 4, yep, he's due for
and
a
an
checkup.
episode.
He's due for a checkup. Well, what'd you just say?
Huh?
And then, when did Paul first appear on the White Noise podcast?
Episode 5.
It's before Brett, right? Yeah, it's got to be 5 or 6.
All right, and the correct answer was actually after Brett.
No way. Wow.
Brett
hate
was
this game,
Brett
dude.
was on episode. See, that's the fun thing.
Brett
is
was
you guys,
before Paul. Whoa.
so he appeared on episode 12. Brett was number 7.
You know,
was on episode
I
12.
think that's true because I forgot that I kept getting Brett and Paul's names mixed up.
It's weird.
And I think that even happened recently where I was like, hey, Brett, and it was like Paul.
You did say you
then-
said "Hey Paul" to Brett.
Yeah, I said, "Hey, Paul" to Brett. Okay,
when he was last on here. Yep,
I'm used to Paul sitting right there.
that's what it was. All right, and if you guys can answer this,
Yes.
how many episodes has Paul appeared on?
Oh, it's got to be like
I'm going to say 6.
I think it's more than that now. 8. I'll go 8.
All right, you
Maybe
guys ready?
7.
14.
14.
He's been on 14 episodes. Now, he was on 13, and then a couple weeks ago he came in halfway through, so that's the 14th.
That was so stupid.
That counts. 13 and a half.
and then
Showed up and sat down.
and then the one where you weren't here and it was just me and Gavin, we did call him on the phone and he did talk to us for a couple minutes. But he's been a guest on here 14 times.
Let's make it 15. I'm gonna call him right now.
So he's been
Shut
on,
up, Paul.
which is a lot.
Shout
you
out,
guys,
Paul.
You guys thought like 6 and 8. Nope,
Yeah.
he's been on.
Good for him.
All right. And then what is our longest episode? If you had to give
it was with Brett, right?
if you had to give a ballpark time,
Ball bark.
ballpark runtime.
I think we passed
Wait,
2 hours, right?
I want to say it was 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Interesting. The correct answer is 2 hours and 13 minutes and 26 seconds.
Dang!
What can I
Good
say?
job,
What can I
Gavin.
say? I'm a white noise.
And that
connoisseur.
was episode 23, the episode that Gavin wasn't here for.
Yep, I was
Paul,
gonna say, I was
Brett,
not
and
here
Ray
for that.
Liotta.
2 hours, dude? What,
Yeah.
what did you guys talk about for 2
Well,
hours?
I remember we were wrapping up, and then Brett wanted to tell his worst date story. So that was
yeah,
like the
that
last
was
20
sticking
minutes.
between my thighs. Yeah.
Want to stick it between my thighs. And I was trying to justify everything, and you guys all got on me about it. But
Yep.
it is what it is.
Pigeons.
It happens.
And then our second longest episode was episode 12 at 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 44 seconds.
Good gosh.
Our third longest episode was another episode Gavin wasn't here for. It was 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 19 seconds. That was with Paul and Cameron.
We just know Gavin doesn't like long movies, so we try to keep it short.
All 3 episodes Paul was on our 3 longest episodes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Everything
Yep.
about me,
Considering
short.
Considering one of the comments left on Paul's first appearance was by Gavin's dad saying, "Man, I like that Paul. He's like the Energizer bunny. He never stops talking or something."
Never stop stock.
Yeah,
Low key an insult, but
I know.
7-Eleven.
All right. Which episode number did Jacob miss his first episode?
12.
26.
That's generous. That's generous. Episode 18.
Oh.
I was closer. I win.
It was closer.
What? What episode did you say?
He said
12.
12.
Oh, man. Okay.
Episode
I don't remember the
18.
reason.
Funny thing about that, I think that was in the middle of April, so we were busy at work.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 18, that was with Joe, another friend of the show.
Blade Runner.
That was the Blade Runner episode, yep. Where Jacob missed, and then when Joe came on again, Jacob also missed. So
Oh, yeah, because that's right. Jacob
Because
doesn't
of
like
the
Joe.
Star Wars rankings.
the Star Wars rankings and Blade Runner. So the whole joke was, oh, Jacob doesn't like Joe. That's not
Joke.
true, Joe. It's a joke.
Joke.
It is true, Joe. I won't lie to you.
You're so dumb. And then, how many episodes has Jacob missed?
7.
5.
All right, correct answer is 7.
I should know.
How many episodes has Gavin missed?
12.
Oh,
No.
5?
I'm going to say...
I'll give him 5.
I'll say 5.
Be a 5.
I'll say 6. 6.
Correct answer is 6.
Nice.
And then, I was going to say 7, but that 7th one was the phone call one. I'm not going to count that. You were on the phone the entire time. But
Nice.
6 up.
And
I mean,
Ethan's missed like 10, so.
shut your dirty mouth.
Ethan has perfect attendance.
Perfect attendance, baby.
Gold star.
You get a good noodle star for that one.
Thanks, man. Which episode featured the first episode or first segment of
First
Gavin
episode.
versus Wild?
Ooh.
Oh, man. I feel like
It was 29 weeks ago because in the thing, I think, there's 29 of them.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot later than I thought.
So, 29 minus 52. I don't know math.
17?
22.
Episode 17.
22.
The correct answer is episode 17. Jacob's on fire.
Jacob is on fire.
So good. These are complete guesses.
I hope like Joe and Brett are listening along, seeing if they can answer these.
Complete guesses.
I should have said that much earlier. And then, which episode was our first real movie review? Because before we were doing it of like, oh, this movie we both seen.
I know what movie it is, but I just don't remember. Wasn't it The Departed?
Which episode?
Is that episode 4?
Episode 4 is the first time we did the movie review.
it's
The
not
first movie was Training Day.
Damn! That's right. Oops.
Oops.
Let that one fly again. My
And
bad.
then, here's another one. Which name of these ones I say has not been used to introduce Gavin?
I got this.
Gavi and the Jets,
Nope.
General Guncap, GG's Gamer,
I remember that
or
one.
Gorge.
Gorge and GG Gamers you've used. I'm going to say the gun cap.
Dude, that I don't remember Gorge.
I'm going to say gun cap.
Gorge. I'm going Gorge.
Gorge. And the correct answer is General Guncap.
Let's go.
Okay.
Gorge was said
When I wasn't
in
here.
episode 18.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't here.
You were here.
Was I?
Was that the episode he missed?
No, you missed... No, you did miss 18.
Okay,
Wait,
there we
did
go.
you miss 18?
Makes sense then.
You don't watch the episodes?
No.
Okay, me neither.
I gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah, that was the one you missed.
Cool.
Cool. Some other names were Goob, Galvin Klein,
Nice.
Goofy Goober Gav,
Good one.
Gavin with an I. Gibby.
I love that name. Gibby.
This one I hated. Gus Johnson.
You can call me Gustavo.
And then that's what I got. Yep. Cool.
What are you, a cop?
So then, all right. So in episode 36, a fan favorite name was said of Gargle God. Mm-hmm. As you recall, Gavin didn't respond until he was addressed by name Gavin.
Yes.
How long did it take for him to respond?
2 minutes.
Before he was addressed.
Oh, I was gonna say like 13. Maybe like
I think it was 2 minutes.
think
I want to say
13
it was
6
minutes?
minutes.
I think it was like a minute and a half. It was still in the intro, wasn't it?
What's your final?
Minute and a half.
6 minutes.
2 minutes and 7
wow.
seconds.
Well, that's not too
First
long.
answer was right.
I thought it was a lot sooner. I thought it was like 45 seconds.
No, I addressed him. I
Yeah,
remember.
I remember. He said, "What do you think about that, Gavin?" He's like, "Thank you. I was waiting for someone to address me by my name." And then, so there's that one, Gargle God. There's also a Gaping.
I wasn't a fan of that one.
Jesus.
Is that one?
That's the one with Joe.
We could say that
Can we say Gaping?
as you say it again.
Yes, I'm reading it right here from my anatomy book.
Yes. Nope.
Anyways, which episode was Gargle God featured in?
You just said 38.
No, I didn't.
36?
It was 36.
Yeah, you said it.
I did,
Oh,
but
36.
Gavin didn't hear.
Nope. Clearly I didn't.
I heard.
And which was our last episode we did that was under an hour? And this is a trap question.
Have we had an episode under an hour?
Have fun.
Yes. Trap question.
I thought that was the one over the phone.
50. 50.
Gavin is correct. It was the one over the phone. It was 46 minutes and 18 seconds at episode 46.
Oh.
Easy.
Oh, was that easy?
Yep. This is easy.
I didn't expect to get all those.
You got a lot.
What's your score? Are you keeping track?
Undefeated.
At this point. Yeah.
G string king. Yep.
Good questions.
How long did it take you to come up with those?
I did it on my way driving over here, so I wrote the notes on my hands.
Oh my gosh.
I was listening to all of them of the ones you can't see on the camera.
Yeah.
Writing G, J, and P. So one's Gavin missed, one's Jacob missed, one's Paul was on, and then timestamps right here. So this was Gargle God,
My gosh.
and it was at 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Oh, don't look at this one. Which episode featured the world famous comment of Shark by Wave God, who's going to be on soon?
Episode 31.
I think I saw.
Then what's the correct answer, Jacob?
Is it 26?
Yep, it was episode 26.
Jacob's cheating.
What was Gavin's first Gavin versus Wild loss?
Oh.
I thought you were going to say win. I was like, huh.
It's like his 8th.
Was it
one,
the hippo?
Right?
Was the
Wasn't
hippo?
he like 7-0?
It was the hippo.
It was the hippo.
Which was the one that I should have won over any of them. The only one that I actually had a firearm in.
Should have lost the first one.
You should have lost the first one.
Maybe.
The tiger with a stick. You got a stick, you beat a tiger.
Sharp stick.
Oh, never mind then. Case closed.
Sharp stick. It works.
And that was episode 4.
We did Gavin vs. Wild in episode 4.
No, I mean, that was the 4th Gavin versus Wild that you lost.
Oh, so you were 3-0, and then you lost. That's not too bad.
Then I lost
So-
the shark.
Gavin's lost to the hippo, the shark, 3 velociraptors.
I thought I tied.
Nope.
Could have sworn that was 50-50. You
I
sure
can
about
look at
that?
it right now. 40 to 60. Gavin with a lightsaber, in parentheses it says orange, versus 3 velociraptors.
Lost that? Damn.
I don't know how I lost that either.
So that's 3 losses. And then, let's see. And then you lost again with Gavin with the handgun versus an adult male grizzly bear. You lost that one.
Didn't the
Fair.
grizzly bear also have a gun?
I think we said that, but I did not put it in the prompt to give you
got
a
a
better
gun.
edge. Wow. A freshly pepper sprayed Gavin lost to a goat.
That was
So
the
that's
funniest.
5.
But I beat the tiger.
You beat the tiger. And then you tied against
I didn't know Gavin fought Tom Brady.
the 10 vicious chihuahuas.
And I won.
You lost.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The goat.
Wait, I lost to the chihuahuas?
You tied against the chihuahuas, and you tied against the centaur.
Still remaining.
But other than that, you've lost 5 with 2 ties.
I still took the division, so we're good.
Yeah, that's good.
See you in the
You get a
postseason.
first round bye.
Number 1 in the seed. See you in the
Number
Super
1
Bowl.
in the seed.
Yep.
Okay. And that's our 1-year anniversary of White Noise Trivia.
Woo!
So
Happy
it's-
birthday, White Noise.
It's been very pleasant with that. And wow, look at the time.
Look at that. What would you look at that?
Well, would you look at that? There is going to be no Gavin versus Wild this week
What? Blasphemous.
because we are restructuring Gavin versus Wild yet again with the end of our mythical edition and all that.
I need a break. I have a bye week. This is number 1
week.
seed, so I need
This
a
is
bye.
the
I have
bye
a bye
week.
week.
So
See you in the division title.
with
Or-
that, we
yeah.
really appreciate you guys for listening. We are
Happy
cameras
birthday.
now. I do have a hat that says One Eyed Fits on it.
Mine says Phoenix Suns.
Sponsored. Just kidding. No, we're not. Soon.
So
$4 billion.
appreciate you guys for joining us. Appreciate you guys listening to all our hijinks. I'm sure Paul, who's been on 14 times, thinks the same.
Thanks for sticking with us this far, all 3 of you.
Joe, Brett, and I can only think 2. That's crazy. Joe and Brett.
Reoccurring listeners. We did have one in Brazil. If you're watching.
I think that was just a VPN.
Oh, okay. So if you're watching and you were actually in Brazil, thanks. Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
And then, cool. So it's Christmas this week. Have a Merry Christmas. And Gavin, I have the song this week. I have the song this week. Let's
We
do.
agreed.
What do we agree?
The best Christmas song ever?
Oh yeah, did we not do that one yet?
No.
Okay.
Carol
the
of the
song
Bells.
of the week is "Last Christmas" by Wham.
All I want for Christmas is you.
No, it's not.
Carol of the Bells.
It's either "Last Christmas" or "Baby It's Cold Outside." Those are the best ones.
That's the best one.
Those are the best
What?
ones.
Nope. That one doesn't even get honorable mention.
I can get for Last Christmas.
Last Christmas
Christmas-
is.
I can get on
Absolute.
board for that one. That's a good one.
I'd
All I
say
Want for
that
Christmas
one-
is You? No.
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 I do like Carol of the Bells a lot.
Carol of the Bells.
That's okay.
Um,
What's
hey.
the Mary Did You Know? What's that song called?
Shoot.
What is it called?
Mary, did you know?
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
That one gets an A tier. Yeah, but Holly Jolly Christmas. That one's S tier too.
Holly Jolly Christmas. There's a lot of good ones.
Yep, they're all good.
And
Oh,
for
Holy
Carol
Night is mine for like an actual song.
It's too slow.
No, not that one.
I want to jam out
Well,
and cry. Hence
all
why
right.
Christmas wins.
Well, Jakey Factuality, we got one.
I do got one.
live action. Ranchuality.
Me, myself, to Jakey, given the facts. People with blue eyes. Persons with blue eyes. People with blue eyes. Persons.
People with blue eyes.
Humans.
People?
People
what's the
who
rest
have
of the
blue eyes.
sentence? Okay.
Like myself, the mutation can be traced back to a single common ancestor.
What would that be?
So, some dude, I don't know,
Interesting.
person. 6,000 to 10,000 years ago is the estimate when that first came about. So everybody with blue eyes can be traced back to a single common ancestor,
So he really
according
just
to
said,
researchers.
So he really just said, I'm going to have blue eyes. Everybody that comes from me is also going to have blue eyes. And everybody else that had brown eyes is like, okay, whatever.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Now, what about green eyes?
I'll get back to you on that.
Next week.
Tune in next week.
Next time, baby.
Cliffhanger. All right. We appreciate you for joining us. Go ahead and listen to Last Christmas by Wham. And be sure to follow us at OEF White Noise and OEF Studios, as well as at The Old Fashioned Pod. I don't want to say it's going to come out January 4th. Not January 4th. January 8th.
What are those socials on?
Instagram.
Then don't say it.
But I think it is. So I did, in August, I did say it's coming out September 4th because I was listening to it.
Well, September 4th next year.
Next year, exactly.
You didn't say what year.
Exactly. We also have a TikTok at OEF Studios that Gavin and Paul run. So as you guys are getting on my case about Old Fashioned, get on their case about that TikTok.
Well, now that we're doing live action, look for
Stop
more
saying
videos.
live action.
What, this is live action. What do you mean?
How are you supposed to post a TikTok without any video?
Gavin's supposed to do wacky things.
I look forward to doing that.
And on YouTube, we're at One Eyed Fits. Leave a comment down below, and we will read it if we get any comments. We haven't had a comment the past 2 episodes, so.
I'll leave one. You guys.
But now there's a reason to go to YouTube and watch since we are now on video.
Correct.
So,
Easy.
Be able to see that. The set will evolve, hopefully, but it's pretty neat.
I'll put a poster right here.
I was going to put a poster.
I thought you were
of
going to do the
Paul.
Bob Ross.
I have one in my car.
Oh, Paul. Right there.
That'll be funny.
The Bob Ross picture.
Put Gavin's Bob Ross paintings, which those videos will probably get posted maybe sometime soon.
Nice.
No, I hate it.
Otherwise, we'll redo it for the 3rd time.
I'm down to redo it.
It's fun.
It's the old-fashioned predicament of redoing it so many times. Anyways, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you. Have a great Merry Christmas. We will see you next week where Paul will be behind the glass and Jacob will unfortunately not be here. So you won't see Jacob till next year.
Yes, I have dinner with my mother.
Exactly.
In law.
And with that being said, we will see you next week. And Gavin, sign us off. It's weird. I'm trying to close with the camera, and it just doesn't feel
All right,
natural.
cool.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we're doing
Love you guys.
Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. What others is there? There's a ton of those.
Snow days.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
You have a Happy New Year. Here's a